This is tape 106 of the Arukh HaShulchan OC. If you would like to sponsor an upcoming shir or more of the Arukh HaShulchan OC, it would be very much appreciated, very much so. Please contact me directly. We are today doing Siman Samach Vav Sif Yu Zayin to Siman Samach Ches Sif Aleph. So Yu Zayin's last penultimate Sif in this Siman, where we're talking about interruptions here, and we're talking about last time. Yesterday we said that we don't make a bracha on tefillin when you put them on during Birkos Kriya Shema, and now Yu Zayin says tefillin. How is it possible a person is dying without tefillin could go into ira or ones, such as if a compelling circumstance occurred, b'yavor my Kriya Shema, the time Kriya Shema will pass. Ruchal the cost below tefillin, then you have to read it earlier without tefillin. Sheish yavor zman tefillin is palagam below tefillin. If you see zman tefillin is going to pass, you should also down without tefillin. Mish ain't no tefillin b'shah shetzibur balim. Somebody who, however, does not tell at the time the tzibur is davening, who types his b'yachidus k'shulu tefillin. It's better davening with the b'yachidus later on, but he does get tefillin. The tefillah b'tefillin adif mitefillah b'tzibur. Tefillah with tefillin is better than tefillah b'tzibur. Eventually, avor zman, and as long as time that passed, this happened to me several times in my life. I don't recall when the last time was, I'm sure, decades ago, when I did not bring my tefillin to yeshiva or something, and then I waited till somebody else would lend me tefillin. And you waited to daven until you got the tefillin, and even though it was after the tefillah b'tzibur. Obviously, but as long as the time will pass. About talis, everything cloud. Should not wait for a talis. You spell b'tzibur below talis. Have talis, b'tzibur without talis. Fine, it's better with Simon nun test. It already explains in nun test. The chom shelo amar emes yativ shachris. The person doesn't say emes yativ in the morning. Emes yomru arvis and emes at night. Lo yad tzaydecho as abroches. And fulfill the brachas krishma. The gam krishma ain't gonna be there to the chami gayin sham. It's interesting. It also detracts from the hater of Shema itself. You have to mention in Emes Yativ Yitzias Mitzrayim and Malchus and Kriyas Yamsuf Umakas Bechoros V'nir D'Zay Kuvan. It seems that is an impediment for the fulfillment of the bracha of Emes Yativ. Came Mashmei Rashba. The Gam Ba'arvis is going to go in Marava, and also has to say this. Yes, Yishashim Zeh in Kol Elam Makin Diavad. It's a question whether they are indeed all impediments, but the evidence, in fact, however, it is rare if ever the one faces such a situation. So the Rama says somebody who has compelling circumstances or is under pressure, but and doesn't have time to daven miyad achar Kriya Shema immediately after reciting Shema. Yikra Kriya Shema ad emes shri Kriya Shema up to emes v'yantil marashara bracha. And then stop there and wait to say the rest of the bracha until he can daven Shemona Esrei. Shows you my emes v'yatziv v'nochol. They should start with yatziv v'nochol. B'chol yispal daven. Say you should smoke a little tefillah in order to juxtapose Kol Yisrael to Shemona Esrei. Kol Yisrael. Piyad Vara. It means to say it's going to Amal Yispal Dasik Mar Kol Tefillah. You wanted to daven the entire davening. When we reach Shema, these damla ownership will see some compelling reason forced you to interrupt. You have sikri v'yatziv, which is stop v'yatziv, and not afterwards. And even there be code them if you knew ahead of time. Sholichas bala kol tefillah couldn't daven of davening. Sir, she avoids my Kriya Shema, and you're afraid it's my Kriya Shema going to pass. You have Kriya Shema below brachas, then just read Shema without the brachas. Kriya Shema, you have brachas, you spell later on. You read Kriya Shema with the brachas and daven Shemona Esrei. That is, it says, besides the Shapa Kushas Magavram. Since you know what the Kushas Magavram is, you know how it answers it. Okay, be that as it may. Simply use Samach Zayin. The Insufin Kar Kriya Shema. If you're Mesupak, you're not sure if you read Shema or not. Aleph, Kaswa, Rambam, Perk Beis, Vatzur, Shulchan Aruch. They're all right. Sufik Im Kar Kriya Shema, Chayzer Korem, Varg, Vanev Achrel. If you're not sure read Shema, you go back and you read it and you make the brachas. Avalim Yodeya Shekra, but if you know that you read it, but you're not sure you made the brachas, you don't go back and make the bracha. That's the end of the call for the Rambam to Shulchan Aruch. Pirad Vorim, it means to say the Kriya Shema D'Oraisa. Kriya Shema is a Torah mitzvah. Therefore, if you're not sure about it, Chos of a Korei, you go back and read again. Continue to speak D'Oraisa Chumah, like any other Sufik in a mitzvah D'Oraisa, which you have to be machmir and do it over again. Therefore, even according to those who hold that Mida Raisa, the obligation is only the first pasuk. Oh, Parsha, we showing the first Parsha. Moshe Sabnu b'Siman Nun Ches. I grew up previously. V'Kosh came with brachos. Hashem Megamid Rabbanon. So the brachos Shmekirishma, the complete Rabbanon. Mekom nevertheless came Hashem Yischai b'Ikar Chiyuv. Since you're Chayiv in the Ikar Chiyuv of the Shema, because the suffix of the right Chumar Mischai b'Kol, you have to do the brachos as well. Shekein Hoisa Takona. This was the Takona because Kriyashma being part of Shema for this purpose, even though they're primarily part of Tefillah, but nevertheless part of Kriyashma for the suffix in when he made the bracha, when he read Shema, and this is from the Chuvas Rashba. Also, anything where the obligation is min Torah and it's a suffix, you make a bracha. It's interesting concept of Yontav Shen Shagolios, because there the sfeika, the suffix, the bracha made on that suffix was officially instituted by the Rabbanan, and when they said Yisor min Agav Sechem B'Deichem, so the extrapolation from there, it's a bit of a chiddush. But Avogat Kam Sfeika Shotor Ein Mefarchim. In several aspects of the Torah, we don't make a bracha masafik mila bandrenos, by a person who has both male and female genitals with shofar, and when you blow shofar when it's a suffix, so every time the shomi is suffix, that's because there's a suffix in the primary obligation. But here the obligation is definite. It's a suffix shemakiyim. It's a suffix that you fulfill or not. It's like the difference between any of that in he'll be sani any of that in paraticha, and then he'll be sani. So then the suffix ikar chiyuv, so then you're not have to pay any of that in paraticha. I don't know if I actually paid you back. There's it's a suffix where it has mekayim the chiyuv, but the chiyuv is a clear chiyuv. There, in fact, you would have to go back and you have to pay the person back. So it's very similar, very parallel. Since you have to go back and read it, Karakula in Birchosel, you read it in its entirely with its brachos. Brachos, when the suffix is only in the brachos, ain't no barach. You don't make the bracha, the speika, the Rabban Kula, because that's the Rabban, the speika, the Rabban Kula. Chashash bracha was there. So also a bit of a chashash bracha batola, obviously, if you might have said it already. Avok shasafik ugam b'kriyas shema, but the suffix is also shema. Ein kan there ein kan chashash bracha batola. There is no chashash bracha batola. Again, it's a big chiddush to me. To be dina kenu, because this is the halacha and the way the Rabbanan put it into place, just like Yom Tov Sheni. They have a takana here, similar takana. Kamosh Kosavu. Base. The Pasha do the Mayu Shish Kansavik ala Kol. It's clear that we're talking about the Savik on everything. Al Kriyashma al Brachos. And the Kriyashma and the Brachos as well. And the Savik Rago Kriyashma. Savik is only on Shema. Brachos by the Ekar, you definitely say the Brachos. Shit Shamar Kriyashma al Brachos. Clearly you only say in that case Shema and not the Brachos. I have no idea where this passage come up. But that Brachos aim Shach on the Kriyashma because Rabbi Sion the test. It's the Ekar, like we just said a few minutes ago, the Ekar of the Brachos is part of Tefillah, not part of Shema. So we said them already. As part of the, as for sure, you don't go back and say them again. But he says interesting and logical thing. If it's true that if it's partial to that you said emes yatziv, you don't go back and say Shema either. You certainly also read Kriyashma. The sirchei nokit v'asei. We assume that you, if you got the emes yatziv, you certainly must have said Shema to get there. Sirchei nokit means you going with the flow. The Pasach L'man Yirbu, as we said over there, when you started L'man Yirbu, and then you realize, oh, I'm not sure which parsha I finished, first or second, we assume the same thing. I mean, the body of Marvayim Shua the Sarchi Naki, we assume you went back with the. You assume you went back with the. You had said the second paragraph. V'chinam Kenu. Here's the same thing. Boiler Shabbos Shemnei Kriyash Ma'amar. If it's clear to him that he said the brachos before Shema, v'asavi hu mikriyash Shema v'abrachos shachreim, and the suffix is on Kriyash Shema and the brachos after them. Korei Kriyash Shema v'abrachos shachreim, and I'm sorry. Boiler Shabbos Shemnei Kriyash Ma'amar. Then we said the brachos before Shema. Savi hu mikriyash Shema brachos shachreim. Questions. We said Kriyash Shema the brachos afterwards. And then you read Shema and the brachas which come afterwards. Now the few mashis part the concept of the Shchaim Gimel. The few mashis part according to what you explained. The whole Safek Torah Shchaim Nei Safek. Any Safek in the Doraisa where you're Chayim Mipnei Safek. Chayim Gamba Bracha. You require a bracha. You have to make the bracha also. Well, if he's saying Safek, it's a little bit Tiyas, a little bit Sukkos, Tiyas Shofar, if you have a Safek. If you filled Tiyas Shofar and Rosh Hashanah, or the Yasluv and Sukkot, the Chayim Menat to Chazakeh, they must do it over again. Tzarich levarich. We should have to make a bracha. Very kind along, yet we know the Ein Mevarich. You don't make the brachas. The Magen Avraham, Sim Tav Kofei, Kuyein the Din Rivosh. The Chein Al Din B'chol Savin, it's a Doraisa. That's true. In every Savin, it's a Doraisa. Should be Savin Chayil Chayil. You have to do it over again. Ein Mevarich, and we don't make a bracha. The Ein made him out to Sheish Golios. It goes back to what we said before. We don't want to understand Shuchiv to me, because there it says he's over Menagavas and Midegim, like we said. If I ain't sure. These are the Gedolim, such as the Grand Prix Megadim, also had difficult this whole concept. You can't learn from the Din Yom Tushen and everything else. Dalit. Remember, the Chubas and Rashi Shon Kosei Rashba, as we shown, has the right to say this. He says that was Takana Kriyashma. Kosev Ocha Filu Barilo Shkar Pasuk Kriyashma. Even it's clear that he read the first pasuk, the Kiyam Kriyashma, the Oraisa Shita, which fulfills Shemiyasma, the Oraisa according to the Rashba Shita. Come, never is Choser Bekorah Bebirchosel. Never is go back and read it with the brachos. Bitam Shekach Hoy Sa Ha Takana Ayin Shah, because that's Takana. See over there. We don't know. We know Shkach said Takana. How do you know this is Takana? The Gemara Einam Avor is there, but Tzarech Yom. And we don't know. Ulai Mina Korei Mikan Va'elach. Maybe the language of Korei Mikan Va'elach, which appears in the Gemara, seems to be that perhaps that's a reference to some sort of Takana. Bir Alocha says if it's clear that they read the first passage, if it's not true about the rest of them, best not to read it. Best not to read it with the brachas. Okay. Hey, there's some machlekas. How much is the chiv the rest? Some people say for one pasuk. Some say first parsha. Some say two parshas. According to our opinion, according to Ram, they're all midoraisa. At least the Chamer Gzom said the Shnei Memes. One of the Golim writes are both true. The Torah calls Shlosh Parshas Chayv the Kreitzer. Midoraisa, you have to read all three parshas. Ulehepech, but on the other hand, Yotze Min HaTorah Pasuk Rishon. Yotze Min HaTorah with the first pasuk. Midi Da'ava Talmud Torah. It's like learning Torah. Shchayv Min HaTorah L'mod. You got to learn. But if you learn a little more morning, a little night, you fulfill the obligation to think Torah towards day and night. You will fulfill the same mitzvah if you do it if you learn all day and all night. It's an expansion of the mitzvah. This is the Lechem Mishnah, Perek Beis, Halacha Gimel and Kiyos Sefer. Usvar Gedoli, the Moshe B'Tam B'Tor, Kamasham Yosei Yesh Lo Schar. It's a good svara. And the more you learn, the more reward you get. Kokim Kriyashma, so too by Shema. Kula min HaTorah, all the parashas to Raisa, Mikomakom Yotza B'Chad Mehem, and nevertheless you will be able to one of them. In the bracket says to Rats Rashi Reish Brachos based on Dibur Maskil Ad. So it's an elastic mitzvah. The chiyuv there is in this case, unlike Talmud Torah, there's a maximal chiyuv, 3 parashas, but the minimal chiyuv is 1 pasuk. Vav. V'adar Pasuk Chomesh is part of Slavik Kriya Shema. All we explained was about Slavik Kriya Shema. Shechos the Kor Baruch Hashem. Go back and read those. Baruch Hashem Shadayin is my Kriya Shema. That's why it still is my Kriya Shema. When over is my Kriya Shema, the time of Shema has passed. Ain't no Kor Baruch. So you do not read the brachos. That's Amru. That's what they said here. Hakorim Mekamelech Loev see brachos. That from somebody reads from here on here, it doesn't lose the brachos. Ain't no Shavade Lo Kara. It's only when you for sure did not not read it previously. of a low suffix. It was not a suffix whether you said Shema or not. Even though you go back and say Shema, if it's after Zman Kriya Shema, you don't go back and say the Birchos Kriya Shema. The Mishnah Berurah points out a valid point here. He says a Pashtu. The Mishnah Berurah points out a valid point. He says Birchos Emes you have to say it until the Shor Revius, because it's like the Zman Tefillah to which it's linked. From there on in, there's no bracha. But you should still say a pasuk of Yitzias Mitzrayim. So I'm not sure why only Emes V'Yatzi, perhaps because Emes V'Yatzi is the only bracha which is directly connected with Shemona Esrei. But the Mishnah was saying the Emes V'Yatzi we could say even in the fourth hour, in this case of a suffix. Zayin. Scarce Yitzias Mitzrayim b'chol yom. We have to remember Yitzias Mitzrayim every day. Also every night. And now having been not turned, it's the Raisa of Vor Bagamara. There's also some Mech who says it's not the Raisa, it's the Rabban, but it is so significant that it has the severity of the Raisa. He says, according to Arukh HaShulchan, says it's the Raisa. Pashul Chayav as Kir Befet. It's clear that you have to say it verbally. Then you have to be here, not Yotzi with thinking it. As we say, according to most sources, thinking is not like saying. Mishnah Berurah has a whole discussion of this, but the Pashas is the same thing. Furthermore, the B'chol Zohar, anytime it says remember the Torah, Perish Maped means verbally. So to hear, therefore. So why is Chiyas Yitzrayim not mentioned in the Klal Mitzvahs again, according to the Or Samech? It's because it's only the Rabbanan, but it's a severe the Rabbanan. But the Arukh HaShulchan says nearly Mishum the Torah Steve, because the Torah says the Mantis Kos Yom Tzeischa. In order to remember the day you exit. Look, see Lashon Tzibur. It doesn't say directly Zochoras Yom, remember the day. Chira, but to remember the remembrance, he glal at Dvarim HaKomim Sheba Pasuk Sham. It's on account of the things which precede that Mantis Kor in the Pasuk there and Dvarim Tezayin. Therefore, in Ki Mina Torah, even though it's a Raisa, Eino Nichlas Min Mitzvahs. It's on the mitzvahs because we do things to remember Yitzias Mitzrayim, but Yitzias Mitzrayim itself is not the mitzvah. V'yar Lish is a freshman Lo Pesach Chol Leos, and the blessing between Lo Pesach and all other nights, Manishtana. And this is a question which many Chronim discuss, the between Zecher and Tzipor, etc., etc. And Arukh HaShulchan says the Chor came in the Gam B'Layla Chiyuv B'Zchias Mitzias Mitzrayim. King is Hefresh. What difference that between that and any other night? It's the same thing, right? But based on what I wrote, Hefresh the Sham will have a Chiyuv Atzmi. There on Pesach night, it's an intrinsic, independent Chiyuv. The mitzvah Seikemura, and that's a complete and total Chiyuv Umanam B'Klal Mitzvahs, and it's included by the counters in the counter mitzvahs. For the differentiation, also other distinctions Mavor B'Mokamach, and they will be clarified elsewhere. In brackets, it says Chiyuv Yitzias Mitzrayim the Yom U'Kol. Even though Kriya Shema is only 2-3 hours, the Yitzias Mitzrayim is the entire day. These kind of Ben Avash Moshe, even in our twilight, you mention it. Chiyuv the Laila Ada Los Shachar, and the obligation is still Los Shachar Ayin Shagas Ari Sheherich Bezeh. It's interesting if you say Shema then between Los Shachar and Neitzachama, which we'd say the Yod say for Kriya Shema and Shel Arvis, won't be Yossi's Chiyas Yitzias Mitzrayim according to that. Mishnah Berurah writes that it's whatever, he writes various different things. He cites Shagasari who says that's the Raisa, even at night. Well, Arukh HaShulchan apparently holds something similar, but not quite the same. Siman Samaches. Okay, it's talking about Minas Putim. How is our minhag with saying a Putim, which is probably a very archaic Siman. Those Putim they say, which we only say basically on Shabbos and Yom Tovim, and that not anywhere near what they used to say. Even though there were some that were not like they're not like this. Many great sources have permitted saying Putim. These are two Kadmonim, also Biladim Latir, and they permitted this from Ragos Hashri, the end of the first Vega Brachas. This does not include that which we learn, say, in Brachas Yud Aleph. Malchus Shem Larich Eno Shai Katzer places they said to make a longer bracha, now to make a shorter bracha. The Katzer to make a shorter bracha Eno Shai Larich, now to make a longer bracha. The Zelian Brachas Katzer Shablo Chasima, that refers to short brachas which have no signature. Varuchas Bechasima, and long brachas which have a signature. Which is the same Arukh, like it says explicitly afterwards. Malcolm Shem Mulachto, when they said have a signature, and he can't remove the signature, etc. Chule, Ayin Sham. But on the contrary, the non-awesome, it says there, Achas Arucha V'Achas Kutzar, one long and one short. Perish Rabbeinu, same long, same short. Perish Rabbeinu Tam Shachim Be'usha. Rabbeinu Tam there explains in places. Ben Arucha Ben Kutzar, Klomar Imber Tzor Arich Be'emtza Yochol Arich. He says that this line refers to if you want to extend the bracha in the middle, you may do so. It's a katzer. I'm saying if you want to condense a bracha in the middle, you can abbreviate it. All that you cannot do is change from a bracha which has a signature to a bracha which doesn't have a signature, and vice versa. Meina chasuma chasuma. Came brought to Tosefta brachas. There's Shon Tosefta. Tosefta says, "Lama amu achas uru achutzara maku shomu larich v'chuli lachtom v'chuli ad kan lishono." Okay, so therefore you're allowed to, according to the consensus, you're allowed to say piyutim.